All right, guys, how's it going? This is Rob Cray here with Geeksation Live, and we're back with another podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about PC versus console, of course, the age-old rivalry. Of course, the normal suspects, we have Andrew Lebo.
Hi.
Dakota Smith.
Hello.
And this week, I'm excited that we actually have Dustin Bond on the show. How's it going, Bond?
Pretty good. Honored to be on the show.
Awesome. So I kind of want to, first off, guys, I kind of want to get a feel for, where everyone stands as far as the, PC versus console issue. I know, we got a lot of fanboys in the house. Me personally, I'll just go ahead and say that I'm team console. What about you, Lebo?
I'm team gamer.
Yeah.
Like I was telling you before the show, I don't really care as long as it's a good game and I can be involved.
Yeah.
I don't really care. I mean, they both have their perks, but we'll get into that later, I'm sure.
How about you, Dakota?
Of course, PC Master Race.
Yeah. Bond.
Master Race representing, but maybe more of a late entrant to the Master Race than Dakota. So I definitely have a lot of fond memories of the old consoles too. So
go ahead, sir.
Oh, so I'd say leaning Master Race at this point.
Okay. So I'm the only console guy here.
Lebo's neutral, so I guess we're convincing him today.
Yeah,
Lebo,
try to convince me.
As far as so you have both, then I'm assuming, Lebo. Since you're neutral, I'm assuming that you play both.
Well, I just now got a PC that could actually handle anything worthwhile. Like I said before the show, back in 1998 or 7 or 6 or whenever Doom came out, that's probably the last time I actually had a PC that could handle a halfway decent game. And back then I was kind of more PC than console, but console really didn't have a whole lot going for it back then.
Yeah.
You had Doom, you had Descent, you had, I think, early iterations of Civilization and those kind of things, SimCity, those kind of strategy type games. But now I have both, and I enjoy playing both, really. Like I said, as long as it's a good game.
Well, I'll just say, I haven't had a PC in a long time. I'm a Mac guy.
There's your problem.
No way. But I will say that there was a time. I've always been a console guy. There was a time, probably I don't know, about a decade ago, that I was into PC for a little bit, and me and Bond played some RTSs and stuff online.
Empire at War.
Yeah, Empire at War. We had a clan called Rogue Bantha. But it was fun. The one thing I will say, the only thing I miss about PC is real-time strategy games, like strategy type games, because I just don't get those on console. But other than that, I can't say I really miss it. What about you, Dakota? What you're pretty much a strictly PC guy, correct?
Pretty much now. I mean, I did have consoles up until GameCube and stuff like that, and I have handhelds, but my main gaming is PC. I mean, anyone who looks at my Steam account sees I have tons of games on there. I'm always on there, either that or Origin. So, yeah, totally love it. Yeah.
What about you, Bond? Do you have any consoles right now, or are you strictly PC?
I've got an Xbox 360. I don't have any of the more recent gen consoles. But yeah, I think the last game I bought for the 360 was BioShock Infinite. So I think that's kind of
a couple years ago.
Yeah. That's the kind of the period that I switched to PC.
Well, I don't know. For me, like I said, I've always had consoles. I mean, my first console, I think, was Atari 2600. And of course, that was way, way back. At that point, I was so young that I don't think I would consider myself a gamer yet. But the first console that I got where I consider myself to be a true, a gamer at that point was, obviously the Nintendo NES. And so I've had a love affair with consoles ever since. I think between us, Dustin and Dakota, I think we've all pretty much had just about every console ever, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I just want for the audience, by the way, Dakota and Dustin are actually my brothers. Dakota's my younger brother. Dustin's my older.
Yep, it's true.
And then Lebo's a college friend of mine, so I don't think we ever really clarified that before. But yeah, we've even back in the day, Bon. I remember we had, you had a 3DO, and it was like, we've had some pretty obscure consoles. But I'll tell you this: the reason I love consoles is just that I feel like with PC, you're constantly having to keep up with like the latest graphics card and technology and stuff, and are always upgrading. And what I really love about consoles is the fact that you make an investment once, like basically every generation, which is typically about 5 years, and then you're good to go for that whole generation. You don't have to worry about there being compatibility issues, right? Like you go out to the store, you buy a game, it's gonna work. It's because it's been optimized for that system. So that's what I really love about consoles. And then I also think the biggest thing is obviously exclusive games. I personally own Xbox One, PS4, and Nintendo Switch at this point. So I have, and I think last gen I had all the consoles as well. I had Wii U, PS3, and Xbox 360 at one point. Now, I will say I'm not the biggest Microsoft Xbox fan. I have one. I don't think I've played it for more than a couple hours. I got it basically for exclusives, and there haven't been any exclusives I'm that really hyped about. But I do, I play PS4 quite a bit, and right now my big thing is the Switch. I'm like obsessed with it. So that's kind of where I stand.
Yeah, that's a valid point about not wanting to like upgrade your hardware. But back when I was a console gamer, that was kind of my major stigma against PC gaming, was just like having like the cost of entry seemed intimidating. But once you actually get into PC gaming, you realize that that's really not the case.
Yeah.
You actually can, if you spend the money, you can have a PC that will work and play games for way longer than a console gen.
Yeah. Well,
So-
I'm sure you can get an off-the-shelf PC that runs as good as a PS4 or an Xbox One for less too. At this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And well, that's actually interesting. This is kind of going off subject a little bit, maybe, but one thing I notice is like the way consoles are heading actually is that they're becoming more like PCs. This generation, especially, like for the first time, basically the PS4 and the Xbox One are built from off-the-shelf PC parts. You know what I mean? So that's really interesting. And even the Switch is basically an NVIDIA, what's the chip called? The Tegra, whatever it is, which is an off-the-shelf, processor, which is pretty interesting. Now, Nintendo claims that it's a custom processor, but they actually did the research and it's just off the shelf.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. But yeah, that is true that PCs and consoles seem to be kind of merging to a certain extent, especially with consoles adopting like direct downloading games to purchase.
Yeah.
They have a lot like hard drives. They have all these components that old consoles didn't have. So they are, you can surf the internet on your PS4 and watch Netflix. So
So it's essentially a PC.
Yeah.
But the big difference obviously is that the exclusivity, and that's one thing. Like if I strictly owned a PC, like I feel like I would probably be like, I know there's a lot of games out there that aren't available on console that are available for PC, but like a lot of the big titles though, like the games that everyone wants are tend to be console exclusive. Excuse me.
You're right, but if you look at the number of exclusives, PC completely stomps.
Yeah, but I feel like a PC has a lot of shovelware.
I would trade in. I would rather have like the 10-1 indie games I could get that are really fun to one like Red Dead Redemption or something like that.
See, I'm actually the opposite. I really like I'm not really into the indie games, I have to admit. Like very few indie games I've got into. I'm more in it for like the AAA titles, you know, and I want the big stuff like Red Dead, you know, Mario, all that stuff.
Other than Nintendo games, though, what's not on a PC?
I mean,
Sony. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, Microsoft, pretty much any major exclusive games, Microsoft or Xbox One
Yeah.
will be on PC now. So, I mean,
That's
we're
exactly
finally getting Halo 6 back on PC when that releases. So, I mean, Sony is the only one where you can't really legally play the exclusive games.
So yeah, so the point there then is that, you know, basically Microsoft, you know, is kind of, you know, any of their exclusive titles you can pretty much play on PC. But like with PS4 or Nintendo, with PlayStation or Nintendo, at this point, you know, you can't really get those experiences on PC. And for me, that's the big deal. Is because let's face it,
Did we lose you, Rob? Hello? Uh-oh.
No, well, he's there. Well, I'll continue on that one because I think he's having technical difficulties. He was on the subject of Sony, but with Sony, yeah, I mean, they have games like Last of Us and.
Sorry, guys, I'm getting having some internet issues. It seems I keep having cutouts. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Yep.
Okay.
Could you like continue in that conversation, like Last of Us or well, what's the other exclusive they got? They just got Zero Horizon Dawn. Is that it?
Yeah, Zero Dawn.
Like
or
those
Horizon
games,
Zero Dawn. Sorry.
Horizon Zero Dawn. Those games look amazing, and it does make me a little envious.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know if it would justify spending another. No, what is it? Was it PS4 run now?
Well, about $250. Yeah, I feel like, you know, consoles though, like the entry price is so cheap for them, and that's why, like, you know, to buy that's another.
Uh-oh. Hello?
I'm here.
I'm
Rob.
here.
I think Rob dropped on us.
Well, I think you did too.
Darn that Florida internet.
We can't blame Nintendo again for that one. But how do we're going to work on getting them back. Levo, could you
Hey, can you guys
maybe
hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, my internet connection is horrible. I apologize. I've noticed the past couple of weeks there's been some dropouts, but tonight it seems to be bad. I need to upgrade my internet or something. Is everyone here still?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, we appear to still be broadcasting, so I apologize, guys, for the issues. But where do we leave off at?
I think I was going to throw it to Lebo on his opinion on this, like on exclusivities, on what would make him maybe what made him go to a PC and why he wanted to go to PC and why he sticks to console, stuff like that.
Honestly, there's never really been any kind of exclusivity. Is that how you say that? With me, like I didn't get an Xbox so I could play Halo. I don't care for Halo. There's other games out there just like Halo. There's Call of Duty. There's all those other ones that I can't really name right now. Battlefield, Battlefront. I mean, I don't care for just Halo.
Yeah.
There's PlayStation games that have exclusivity, which is The Last of Us, which Xbox has one just like it almost. And then there's what's that other one with the guy that running around like Indiana Jones guy?
Oh, Uncharted.
Uncharted.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
amazing.
I'm sure it probably is, but I can go to Xbox and play something similar. I'm sure.
Yeah.
If I wanted to find something.
Basically, Tomb Raider. The new Tomb Raider is a ripoff of Uncharted.
Yeah. So exclusivity doesn't really bother me. I think the reason that I've been a console guy in the past is I just got this PC, and it's kind of a pain in the butt when you're looking for a game and you're like, oh yeah, that game looks really cool. Oh crap, I can't play it. Oh crap! I can't play that. Oh, did you? Oh man, that'd be a lot of work just to play that.
Yeah.
Son of a. So it's it's kind of one of those things. Like I'm sure once the PC, like I'm sure you could go out and spend $3,000 on a really nice PC and have everything work for you perfectly. 5 years down the road, it's not going to work anymore. Which same thing with a console. You buy a console 5 years from now, the Xbox One's not going to. I mean, you're going to be able to play Xbox One games. That's it, and 360 games and whatever the backwards stuff is for that. As far as the backwards compatibility goes, the PC blows every console out of the water.
Yeah, I mean, abandonware.
Yeah, that's a good
I think that's the term for it. It's called abandonware. It's basically being able to pop in Doom from way back when and still be able to play it.
Yeah, I will give you that. I will give you that. That's pretty amazing. And that's one big disappointing thing was, this gen for me was that we didn't have backwards compatibility with like the PlayStation 4. And I loved the first generation PS3 where it had, the backwards compatibility with PS1 and PS2 was amazing. So I wish, they would, bring that back. But of course, the cost of that emotion chip that they used was like a big chunk of why that console was so expensive when it came out. But yeah, I will give you that. PC definitely has an advantage there. Because, man, I'll tell you what, I'd love to go back and play some Command and Conquer.
I mean, I'm not trying to make you jealous or anything, but I still have all the Command and Conquers. So,
yeah, I know. That's honestly, the few times I think a few times I've told Dakota like, yeah, I'm thinking about buying a PC, and pretty much the only thing I have my vision set on is Command and Conquer.
I mean, you get one. I mean, we could play Empire at War.
Yeah,
make it happen.
I don't know, man. I'm kind of busy playing Zelda Breath of the Wild and Mario Kart right now. Which
we can play that now too. So.
Oh yeah, did they finally get that running?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, that's awesome. Are you playing that?
No, I'm not. Because I know if I do, I'm gonna like completely be dead to everything else.
We're kind of going off subject here, but I've invested over 70 hours into Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and I haven't even explored half the map yet.
Nice.
It's amazing. It really is.
I'm not real sure what my time was in Skyrim, but I think I completed the game and still hadn't seen half the map.
Dang. Yeah, well, see, that's part with me. I'm not even, completing the missions. I'm just like walking around, just exploring. It's so much fun. But that's a whole different topic. We can do a whole podcast on Breath of the Wild.
Probably. It's a good point on saying why consoles may be better. I mean, you get Breath of the Wild. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
It's got Breath of the Wild first.
I would say if there's any console that, if any console could win that debate on like, which, having superiority over PC as far as titles and probably over any of the other consoles as well would be Nintendo. I mean, their first party games are just amazing.
I mean, as a owner of a PC, the only console that you would want to own personally would be a Nintendo console.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just like almost no overlap on like the good like Nintendo console games and the PC games.
Yeah. Nintendo's never gonna freely release a port.
Right.
So
it's really interesting though that they were so easily able to port Breath of the Wild over, but of course, Breath of the Wild was a port of a Wii U game, so I know they had been working on emulating that for a while. I'm sure the emulated version that's out there is probably from the Wii U.
Anyway, but another subject to get on is a reason why I think PC is better.
Mm-hmm.
And this is because we have consistent support right then and there.
Yeah.
Like if there's something buggy going on with a game, you can immediately tab over, type it in, find a fix, and be back playing within minutes rather than waiting for a patch for your console game.
That's a good point.
User patches.
That's a good point.
There might even be a way for you to just like edit a text file or something.
I have to say that, I'm glad you brought that up because that's one thing that annoys the hell out of me about modern consoles is because, like we said, it's heading more towards, a PC type architecture. So we're getting a lot of those, those problems that come with like PC games, and that's like always updating and stuff like that. And so that's really annoying for me because like every time I turn on my PS4, I swear to God, I have to spend 20 minutes updating the damn thing. Yeah, and then every game has to be patched like, once a week or once every couple of weeks. It's nuts.
I always was furious at like the updates on I think it was my PS3 because they would just take forever.
Yeah,
and they were like so frequent.
And it's so much worse on PS4.
Oh my God, I can imagine.
I mean, another thing to totally get into considering is oh crap, I lost my train of thought. Oh no.
Well, let me say this real quick. The other thing that's annoying about the updates for the PS4 is that you can't do anything until you update it. Like if you don't you can choose not to update it, but it'll lock out all your programs. It's nuts. So they force you to update. It's insane. I hate it. So, I go to catch up on some Netflix at night and then I spend 20 minutes updating and it's like, God damn it. At least, let me watch a show while it's updating, so in the background.
See, when you're updating the console, I haven't messed much with the PS4. For like games, it totally locks you out of a lot of stuff, don't it?
I don't think it locks you out of the games, but it locks you out of if you don't update like the operating system, then basically it locks you out of every app. So you can't do Netflix, you can't do anything.
Oh,
which is annoying. Yeah,
that kind of sucks because you can just.
I don't even think you can log into the PlayStation Store if you don't update. It's crazy.
See, like if I have a game update or something like that, it just runs it through Steam in the background. And I'm sitting here watching YouTube videos, watching the latest Geeksation video.
Of course. Well, and this might be kind of leading us into another subject that maybe we could talk about in the future. Yeah. But one thing that I think the problem is that game developers are releasing games that aren't finished, and then they take time. They basically go out, print the discs or whatever. And then on launch day, the damn game isn't, ready to go yet. And so you're, I know I can't think of a game on PS4 that I've played since the PS4 came out that on day one, there wasn't some kind of patch. As soon as I, popped the disc in, I had to update with some huge patch. That's annoying, because you're hyped. It's like, I'll go to these midnight releases. I'm old school like that. And, I get home wanting to play the freaking game, and then I got to install some huge patch. So I guess that's a downside of consoles right there.
Yeah, I mean, that's been kind of an increasing trend ever since developers have had the temptation to just say like, oh, we'll just patch it after release.
Yeah, George Lucas syndrome will fix it.
I mean, like back in the PS2 days, I mean, if it was broken when the game was released, I mean, it stayed broken. Basically.
Yeah, there weren't updates, so they had to release the finished game. Well, and I will say this about Nintendo is that with the Switch and the Wii U, they have had updates and stuff, but they still their first party stuff is top notch. Like they make sure that they ship games out that aren't broken. And Breath of the Wild was shipped without any major glitches that I'm aware of. And there's been a couple of updates since, but there weren't any game breaking glitches that I've heard of. So Nintendo really took their time, and I gotta applaud them for that.
Not like Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Hey, man. I love that game. Andromeda was great. I don't care what people say.
I haven't played it yet. It's one of those games that I'll probably pick up on Black Friday when it's $20 or something. But,
it's on sale right now.
It's cheap. It's cheap now already.
And that's another subject we can get into because Mass Effect was more broken on PC than it was on consoles. So, as a result of ports, and we can get into that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's another issue.
Go for it, Goo.
See, I'm really getting sick and tired of just half-ass ports of PC games because I would almost rather them do a GTA or Rockstar thing where they take the time to make the game right on PC if they know they're not going to have it ready, then just rush it same day.
Yeah.
I really get sick of that because then it just leaves PC gamers with a sour taste in their mouth, and then they go on the forums and they start bitching.
What was the other game that was just like that? Dakota, was it The Division?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it was almost unplayable.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was bad.
Yeah, that's a common problem I hear about. I do hear PC people complain that, oh, well, consoles are holding us back because, these games have to be optimized for consoles. So therefore, they're not pushing the envelope as far as, graphical fidelity and stuff like that. But I don't see why they still can't, optimize the PC version, and then just downgrade it for consoles.
Getting to GTA 5, I mean, it was a year till we got it on PC, and then now the joke is thanks console gamers for beta testing GTA 5 because we got the better version when it came out, because we got all the extra stuff.
Well, I'll tell you what though, it still was a fantastic game even on PS3. I played it on PS3 and then bought it again on PS.
Yeah,
that game is what, five years old?
I still play. I was playing it yesterday.
GTA 5.
Yeah,
isn't it 5 years old?
Is it that old?
It's not that old. It's like 3 or 4.
I think it's
like 3 or 4.
It has to be 4.
Wait, no, you're right. It is
it?
Because holy crap. Yeah, because think about it. This year is going to be okay. The new generation of consoles came out in 2013. No, it's about 4 years old.
Yeah.
Because it was 2013 when the PS4 came out. It came out right before the new gen of consoles came out. And then it came out on...
older than it seems like.
I know, 4 years. Dude, time is flying these days, I swear.
September 17th, 2013.
Yeah, I mean, because, console generation cycles usually last about 5 years. The last console generation cycle ran a little bit longer, I think probably because of the economy and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But usually it's about 5 years. So, I mean, next year is going to be the fifth anniversary of the release of the PS4 and Xbox One. So...
The fun fact, though, the GTA 5 is what caused me to buy my current PC rig. It's what caused me, because I wanted to be able to run that flawlessly.
Yeah.
And since that's come out, I haven't ran into any games that I have problems running. So if that's a trend on why it's like a stigma on upgrading parts all the time.
Yeah.
Yes, I've upgraded some cosmetic parts like LED lights and stuff like that.
You guys and your LED lights.
And our RGBs.
Things look like UFOs, man.
I got spinners on mine.
Yeah. But yeah, cosmetic stuff, light, keyboard, mouse, spinners. Jeez.
Rod spinners. Our Rod spinners. Remember that song?
Put some hydros on it.
That's great, man.
Every time I click my mouse, it jumps.
But that's part of
it is pretty cool. I like the customization aspect. I will say I'm a bit envious of that. Like, I guess everyone now has these RGB lights and everything, which is cool, but I don't know. They all kind of look alike now, but it's neat that people are doing that kind of thing. I mean, I saw where people even had their RAM lit up, which is like RAM lighting. Like, what the hell, man?
It's also just kind of satisfying to have something that you can say I built this with my own bare hands.
Yeah, true.
You'll find a lot of PC gamers who actually build their own rigs or tech geeks, so they take pride in putting that stuff together, and that becomes theirs. It's not just something you can buy off the shelf that everyone else is going to have.
Well, that's probably why I like Mac also, is because I honestly just want my stuff to work. You know what I mean? And so that's why I prefer Macs, is because, I don't really want to go in and optimize anything and change anything. I just want a computer that works and does what I need it to do. And that's, also why I like consoles, because I don't necessarily want to spend a bunch of time building something when I can just get something that works and get to playing. You know what I mean? But I guess that's where I'm different than you guys.
You got to have the passion for it too.
Yeah.
You could go on website and buy a pre-built computer, but what's the fun in that if you're a PC gamer?
Yeah.
I mean,
about the extent that I will customize is on my Wii U, I got one of those decal
you got
kits.
A sticker.
I got one of those decal kits to make it look like classic NES.
I mean, I could throw some RGBs on that bitch.
Yeah, I plan to do that with the Switch too, man. I just saw this article where someone had made theirs look like a Famicom.
Yeah.
So I forgot to post that article actually, or those photos in the Geeksation page on Facebook. I need to do that. But it looks awesome, man. Same with I was dying for when a few years ago they came out with those limited edition PS4s for the 20th anniversary. They were PlayStation Gray. I camped out online for hours to get one of those, and then my browser crashed when they went up, and so I missed out on one. I was so mad.
Damn Florida internet.
Damn it.
I don't think I remember that. You said you had it in the checkout and you were about ready to pay.
Yeah, I literally had it in my cart, right? And then the browser crashed, and when it reloaded, it was gone. Dude, I was online for 8 hours refreshing the link on Twitter for it to go live. 8 hours.
Oh, that's bad.
And then all these scalpers, of course, bought them and sold them. So.
Oh, you would
I
have
haven't done it. I haven't done anything.
But we're getting off topic once again. It's all good, you know. That's part of the fun of it. So yeah, but the internet here does suck, by the way. It's that Florida.
Speaking
Florida
of internet, we don't have to pay for online services with PC.
Oh yeah, thank you. That's a good topic. Yeah, that sucks.
Nice segue.
I hate that. I hate. You really make me mad with that because, you know, with PS3, it was still like an optional thing to have the PlayStation Plus service, but like the online gaming portion was free. But with PS Plus, you would get like a couple of free games a month or whatever. And then with the PS4, they announced that, hey, now you have to have this to play online. And they keep jacking up the price. Like it was $49.99. Now it's $59.99. Like seriously? And then the games that they give away, honestly, like every once in a blue moon, they give away a good game for free. But most of the games they give away are garbage. So that makes me mad. And then when you add on top of the fact that, remember, I own an Xbox One, a PS4, and a Switch. So I have to have online service for the Xbox. So that's $60 a year, $50, $60 a year. For the PS4, $50 to $60 a year. Now, right now, the Switch is free, but starting like this fall, they're going to also charge for online service. So I'm going to be paying at least, you know, $120 a year for online service just to play these games online. It's ridiculous. It should be free.
Yeah, it should be.
It should be free.
I don't understand. It's not.
Careful, Rob. You're going to fall off your soapbox there, buddy.
Let me look. I have to. I'm not like too knowledgeable on this, but like why? I mean, why does Sony and Microsoft charge for online service? Like, you know, like if it's free for PC, like I never understood why it's not free on consoles. From my understanding, is they claim that they maintain servers and stuff, but isn't that the publishers and the developers of the game that actually maintain servers for said game?
Yeah, but they do. But then it's a weird in between thing where it's hard to explain. But Microsoft hosts those companies' servers, or it allows you to connect to those easier.
Yeah.
So they're charging you for that little bit of work they do.
Wow, that's ridiculous.
So, I mean, it's no different from Steam connecting us to the GTA servers or something like that, or Origin to Battlefront servers. I mean, I guess Origin's a little different because that is EA, but
yeah, that's
how's the service on those servers though? Is it pretty up and up?
On which servers?
On the Steam servers and the PC version in general.
They're normally top notch. I don't see why they're any worse. I mean, it just depends on the game. I mean, of course, any launch day game has problems with servers being overloaded and stuff like that. But normally Steam, for example, which I have a love-hate relationship with, and I'll get into that in a second, which will benefit consoles. But Steam tends to be on top of that stuff. Like, that platform is probably why the PC gaming has like taken off even more recently, is because of how easy it is to use and how reliable it gets. Yeah. So
I would agree.
And the sales, of course.
Yeah.
They got some amazing sales. I will say, make this one point real quick too, and that's another thing that I personally don't like about consoles is the price. Like, a new game comes out at $60, and like the same game on PC is like half the price. Like, that's just crazy. I don't understand that. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but are you familiar with the game The Binding of Isaac?
Oh, I love that game.
Okay, so The Binding of Isaac, correct me if I'm wrong, I heard that it's like maybe $5 to $10 on Steam or whatever. Now,
I think the original is like less than that, but the more recent one is like Binding of Isaac Rebirth is like $10, I think.
Okay, so this is a $5 or $10 game. It was $60 on the Switch when it came out.
Are you serious?
They were charging full price. Like, there's a lot of weird like games that are like, like some of these games are being ported from PC over to PS4 and Switch and like over to consoles.
I mean, Minecraft started that one.
Yeah, are being priced at full retail, and their PC counterparts are like dollars, a few dollars. So I don't know. That's insane. We're definitely paying a premium on stuff.
$60. Like I said, I picked it up on a spring sale for like $1.20 something.
Jeez.
It's $5 right now, and the new one's $15.
I will say I'm envious because I see these Steam deals. I'm like, good Lord, like these humble bundles and stuff.
I don't know if we could talk about it, but the like G2A, the shady Russian keys, where you can get brand new games for like $15 instead of $60.
Wow. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I will say this. I never pay full price for a game. In the past, always has to have like the latest games on launch day, right? Like I'll try, like even with like Breath of the Wild, like I wasn't that hyped about it until it came out. And then that day I was like, oh, I got to have it, right? So, but I don't. I have what's called Gamers Club Unlocked, and this is not like a Best Buy advertisement, but it's like like some program. It's some program that Best Buy has basically that you pay into, and it when games come out, you get 20% off. So it makes them like $48 brand new titles, and then Amazon now has something similar. Like if you're an Amazon Prime member, you also get 20% off. But so I don't pay full price out the gate usually. But I've also learned not to buy games on day one unless I absolutely have to, because I've noticed like a trend where games within a month or two of release drop by like 50% on console. So that's just a tip for all you gamers out there that are frugal.
Like the Amazon Prime thing. I think I've actually used that to buy Overwatch, a physical copy, which would be the first physical copy I bought in years, because normally it's all digital on Steam, which is actually something I don't like, because like if something was to ever happen to Steam, those 400 plus games I have on Steam gone. I don't own them. That's why I'm a little envious of hard physical copies with the consoles, because at least that once you bring that home and you pay your money, that it's there.
That's why I prefer physical. I actually was going to have I wrote this down as like a discussion to have for another podcast, but of course I don't think we're going to be able to do an entire podcast on physical versus digital.
But I'm sure we could.
So maybe we'll hold off on that, but I'm definitely a physical guy myself.
I'll just say I always assumed I would be a physical guy because I love like the old instruction manuals and boxes and stuff. But
they've done away with they've done away with that.
Oh, I know. But I was really shocked by how much I appreciated just the ease of use of the digital delivery format.
It is. But with me, I think the biggest issue why I still do physical is, I don't know, I'm old school and I like to have that, something in my hands and like something to put on the shelf. But also because like if a game sucks or I get bored of it, it still has some value that I could say trade to someone or sell to someone, right? And then get a different game, which I do sometimes. Which with a digital download, once you buy it, you're stuck with it, right? So
I don't care. I really sit me on the couch. I'll switch out from here. I'm not going to get up and put another freaking disc in. I totally do not care about buying a hard copy. It's nice to have a hard copy because you get that. And I understand where you're all coming from. First of all, don't ever take anything back to GameStop.
I'm talking more like, me and another gamer like exchanging, like trading games as opposed to
that I can see. And what I've actually done this in the past is I've bought a game used from someone for $10 or something, where it was it's been out for a year. I buy it for $10. Then I'm like, hey, I like that game. Then I buy it for another $10. On the digital version, and then I sell the other one for $10.
Totally. I guess nowadays though, there's a lot of games that like because they're like online only, then like in the future you're not going to be able to go back and play those. So I guess physical doesn't really matter as much as it used to. to where like, those old cartridges, you could just pick, go back and blow the dust off of it and pop it in and it still works, But yeah, we're kind of swaying off into like another topic of digital versus physical.
Well, not really, because I mean, do they even sell PC hard copy games anymore?
Barely.
Yeah, some.
Okay, walk into a GameStop and ask for the newest PC game and watch them laugh at you.
Well,
they won't have it on.
What's a PC?
Yeah.
You can't trade that game back in.
I will say, a couple years ago when Star Wars Battlefront came out, I went with a buddy to Best Buy to the midnight release, and he was getting like 2 copies on PC, right? And they had a physical shell, like it was a package and it had the cover art and everything, like a physical game. But when you opened it up, it was a code to download it. It was bizarre. I was like, why waste all that money with the packaging if you're not even going to put like a disc in there? But, like my Mac, I know you guys hate Mac, but my Mac doesn't even have like so you can't even insert discs. And like the newest Macs only have one type of port, a USB-C port or a Thunderbolt port, and that's it.
Well, you shouldn't be playing on a Mac. You shouldn't be playing games on a Mac anyway, bro.
I don't need them on my Mac.
True story.
That's all I'm saying. I use my Mac for, graphic design, video production, stuff like that.
Well, but back to the physical, that is a trend I'm seeing, but that's a lot of reason why PC games might be cheaper is because digital. Yeah. It's fully digital. I mean, where they're not really printing discs off anymore because the only reason a disc is even used on PC is to install the game, not to play the game.
Yeah.
So you don't even need the disc. It's just a waste of money.
I don't think that physical copies have ever been as big of a deal on PC as they are for like console gamers, right? Like, I mean, they've existed, but like, I don't think there's ever been the pride of ownership, like for like a boxed PC game that like console owners have felt throughout history.
I mean, for MMOs, yes, but other than that, no. And I don't think any of us really play. I mean, I played a lot of Tor, and when that came out, the boxes for that was pretty awesome. But it's
a lot of the old RPGs on PC came with like maps and like like weird trinkets and like all sorts of crazy collectibles like that. So
trinkets.
I mean, go look at the Mass Effect 1 collectors, like the little edition they did for PC. It was a lot better than the consoles version.
Yeah, they still do these collector's editions for PC, right? So basically, you just get a digital code and then like the statue or whatever the heck it includes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's the same price as a console version, but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, like I said, at the end of the day, for me, it's just ease of use and exclusivity, and I guess maybe if things really went like in the future, go the path of like where exclusivity no longer exists, like where you're starting to get like all like, it feels like it's going that way because it's just not as profitable for companies. Like, I guess a good example would be, I don't know, there's like some of these Xbox exclusives, like, what's the name of that game? Titanfall, right? Titanfall, the first one, fantastic game, but it was exclusive to Xbox One. And then the second, the sequel was on cross-platform, basically. And, I'm sure for the company, it was, bigger, they made a lot more money because obviously, you have a certain number of users installed on Xbox One versus if you're selling them across, multi-platforms. So at the end of the day, for developers and publishers, it's better to have your game across multiple platforms. So in the long term, I think we're going to see less and less exclusive titles.
Well, I think PC will in the future have an advantage in exclusivity just because of the fact that certain games can only realistically be played with a mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
Like admittedly, my tastes in gaming are probably kind of quirky compared to some people's. But I mean, like games like Civilization 6 or some of the popular strategy games. I mean,
I don't see Hearts of Iron working on the console.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also, what's weird about that is let's talk Halo Wars real quick. The new Halo Wars that came out. The port for that, you would think would work really well on mouse and keyboard because it was originally a console RTS. But when they ported it, they ported the freaking controller mapping on it, and then had really crappy support for the mouse and keyboard, and it tanked on PC. Yet they did it again for Halo Wars 2. So I'm not.
Yeah, I haven't played Halo Wars, but I have to admit that's like the one Halo game I'm really interested in, just because it's like an RTS.
But I think that might be like the one time where RTS was better on the console than the PC.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't say. I've never really played a lot of RTSs on PC, especially lately. And I think it's kind of a dead genre, isn't it? But
no, Dawn of War 3 just came out.
Yeah.
I mean, Company Heroes 2 still goes strong.
I just never hear about it as much anymore. But for me, one of my favorite games of all time, which I already mentioned, was Command and Conquer. And of course, I played that on PlayStation, and I loved it. And I thought the controls worked well on PlayStation.
Yeah. What's unfortunate is that I think that series is
the last Command and Conquer game. Oh, I know it is. I miss it so much.
I think
EA killed it, man.
I think Sega and Relic have taken over that niche.
Yeah.
I
really want another good Command and Conquer game. But yeah, we don't get those. The only strategy game that came out for PlayStation 4 that I can think of was what is the name of it? It's like you're basically playing as a drug lord. You know what I'm talking about?
What?
Yeah,
Tropico.
Yeah, Tropico.
Oh, okay.
So
you're thinking of Grand Theft Auto.
No, it's like a dictator in some foreign country. But anyway, so I played that, and it was all right, but I prefer like war style games as opposed to
Another thing we can get on is speaking of I keep losing my train of thought tonight. I don't know what's going on with me. I have these ideas coming in, and then they just go right out.
Happens to me all the time, brother.
Yeah. Me too. It's called ADD.
I'm getting older.
Okay. Mods. I want to get on that.
Oh yeah.
Brought up GTA.
Yeah.
That reminds me of all the GTA mods you'll see.
Yeah.
Like I remember you looking at one specifically. It was like graphic or enable mod, which like boosted the graphics.
Oh yeah,
a ton.
Like photorealistic.
Yeah, photorealistic, like 4K or even at 1080, it looks way better.
It's beautiful.
Free mods,
like next gen.
I've noticed some of the console mods are paid, and I don't understand why they're doing that.
Yeah, they've brought. I haven't really used that, but I know that they've brought some for certain games. They've allowed like mods for. I want to say Skyrim and for like GTA.
Fallout 4.
Yeah, Fallout. But you got to pay for them. A lot of them.
They have the mods on GTA.
That's junk. But
I've never noticed the mods on GTA.
But I will say I'm pretty envious of some of the mods that are out there, man. I've watched gameplay of like people playing as like the Ghostbusters in Grand Theft Auto 5 and stuff.
I've seen a video where they replaced the blimp with an Imperial Star Destroyer.
Yeah, that's so cool. It's so cool what people are doing with that.
Even on Skyrim, for example, you have this guy who put out a content mod, which added over 70 hours to Skyrim.
Oh yeah.
And it was PC exclusive, and it's like, okay, so then it's extending game time for your game that you wouldn't have on a console.
True. And I hate DLC. That's a whole nother topic to talk about too. But
I mean, well, PC gets it too, so that's not a neutral ground.
I just want to say this real quick. Have you guys ever seen the mod for Skyrim that makes the dragons into Macho Man?
Randy Savage? Yeah.
That's amazing.
The Thomas the Tank Engine dragon's probably my favorite though.
That's crazy.
Or the Samuel L. Jackson mud crabs.
So awesome. Yeah, they're really creative with that stuff, man. I gotta say I am envious of that.
Yeah. I mean, but then you have a lot of a new thing coming out where you'll have a PC game in early access that's coming out on consoles, like Conan Exiles, Ark, Survival.
Oh yeah. And you guys had that stuff way before we did.
Yeah.
I mean, we just got Ark on PS4 like a couple months ago, And oh my god, that's another thing that made me mad. They charged full price for Ark. It was like $60. I was actually going to get it because I watched gameplay videos and I was like, oh yeah, this game looks kind of cool. And then I'm like $60.
You know how much I paid for to get into early access? Like 50,
you want to know?
$15.
Yeah. So it's not. I do agree. You guys have some good points here.
But you're not. It seems like we're bashing on you. Where's your comebacks to this one? It's like we're bringing up all these points and you're just agreeing. You're not like pushing back.
No, look. Hey, I'm a console guy. Always have been. I always will. At the end of the day, until consoles are somehow eradicated. But there's definitely there's a lot of things that make me consider switching over. And all the stuff you've talked about are good points, and they're things that I've definitely thought about. And it just as recently as Dakota, like around last Christmas, I was talking about getting a PC.
Yeah.
So
I was really excited. I was hoping we was gonna get on some press.
Yeah, and that's actually what I was about to say. Is I think for me, like as far as games and stuff, like most of the games I want are on console. Reasons that I want PC. Number one, and the biggest reason is because like back in the day, me and Dustin and Dakota and like some of our other family would get online, and like friends would get online on weekends and have game nights, right? And I really missed that. It was so much fun, and I feel like my gaming experience now has kind of steered away from online and is more like I'm more playing like offline stuff now and not with friends, right? So I really miss that, and I think a lot of the reason is because a lot of the people that I used to game with are now PC gamers. So the biggest thing for me, like wanting to switch, is so that way I could have that experience again of like getting online with you guys and playing some Star Wars or whatever, some RTSs, and I can't get that experience because you guys don't own the consoles that I have, and then I just lost my train of thought. Dang it.
I have an Xbox One, Rob.
Yeah, you do. But like I said, I had an Xbox 360. I used to play it quite a bit, right? And because at one point I didn't have a PS3 because my PS3 like crashed or something, and so Dustin had one, and then like most of my friends had an Xbox 360, so we would get on and play a lot, on the weekends. But then everyone kind of moved on, and the game nights kind of faded away, and then I got another PS3, and then I started playing more on PS3, and then I got rid of my Xbox because I like PlayStation better. And then this generation, I just haven't played the Xbox because there's nothing on there that I want to play. So I literally bought a brand new Xbox One and have played it for maybe 2 hours. It's sitting there like it even, it probably still smells new, but it's been, and it's only been turned on for maybe 2 hours because there's just nothing on there that excites me, and none of my friends have Xbox, so there's no reason for me to play it.
I mean, you technically keeping that Xbox might benefit you to play with the console or PC players, considering a lot of crossplay between Xbox and PC now. And I guess maybe that's one way to merge that gap. Is crossplay.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Xbox guy. The only reason I really got the Xbox was just because I wanted to be able to play exclusive titles, and so far there hasn't been. I did buy Dead Rising 4, and it's still in the plastic. I never opened the dang game, so one. But I think that's coming to PS4 later this year. I think they had like a 1-year exclusivity, and it seems like a lot of the games that are exclusive to Xbox have like temporary exclusivity.
Yeah, I mean, exclusivity in general seemed to decline kind of last generation.
Yeah, they all seem to be like timed.
Yeah.
Not like Tomb Raider was timed to the Xbox One.
That's, but without exclusivity, there's really no reason then to have multiple consoles, right? Like,
not really.
So I think ultimately, like, my prediction is that, like, I don't think the Xbox brand is going to last much longer. This generation, they're getting stomped by Sony. Like, this is becoming a console wars conversation now. But I seriously, like, I was looking at the numbers the other day, and Sony so far has sold 60 plus million consoles, and Microsoft has, I think, was under 25. So, I mean, they're really struggling, and I just don't see Microsoft lasting maybe more than like maybe maybe one more generation before, Microsoft basically puts all their eggs in the PC basket.
Well, those 20 million must be in Kansas because everybody I know has an Xbox.
I don't know hardly anyone who owns an Xbox. Almost everyone that I know owns PS4 that are console gamers. And then when it comes to Nintendo, the numbers are even lower than that. Like I said, like when I had a Wii U, I maybe had one friend who had a Wii U. Like they sold, so poorly that like I think only 13 million consoles sold worldwide. So think about those numbers, man.
It was named Wii U.
Yeah. And it was a great console. I love.
What console do you play on? The Wii U.
I love Wii
U. Talking about that on Xbox throwing all their chips in the PC basket, I think they're already starting to slightly do that with the new Windows 10's gaming.
Yeah. Do you notice how like so many like pretty much there's like cross-platform gaming between all that cross-platform. So they're moving in that direction already. And Project Scorpio, I mean, essentially is just going to be like, a really souped up PC rig, sounds like, like a souped up console PC rig. So
it really sounds like it's just to keep up with PCs so they can continue doing the cross-play stuff. Which, if companies would just do cross-play stuff, we wouldn't even be having this discussion right now.
Yeah. Well, so, I think on that subject of Microsoft releasing the Scorpio, that just goes back to what we were talking about earlier, that it's becoming more and more like PC, right? Because now they're having to keep up with PC, and they're just building these consoles that are essentially off-the-shelf computer parts. So we might even see an end to your typical console generations, and instead it looks like we're heading towards a more like
almost like a Steam box thing, where it'd be a Microsoft branded PC that's in the living room.
Well, I have to say, I thought the Steam box or a Steam machine rather was a really interesting idea, and I was actually really interested in getting one.
I think it was a little too ahead of its time. I think a lot of people. I think if it would have waited till maybe next gen,
that could be the future, though. Is that we're gonna, that could have been like a glimpse into what the gaming industry is gonna be like 10 years from now.
I would almost want to guarantee it, because it's looking like it's heading that way. It's just gonna be these desktop PCs plugged into your television with a controller. What's the difference from a console now from that? I mean,
and you're right. And I'd honestly almost be okay with that. Like if you just had like one, like I think a lot of people have kind of always wanted that, to just have one format, right? Because I mean, the downside of that is that you don't have we kind of had this topic with this discussion with the Nintendo topic a couple weeks ago, that Nintendo is great because it innovates, right, with its hardware. But I feel like if we ever did go to a single format, then you would lose a lot of innovation.
I don't necessarily think that it would go to a single format. I still think you'd have like your Sonys and your Nintendos and your Xboxes, just like you have the war within PC of AMD and NVIDIA.
Yeah, Sony builds PCs, so
it's the same concept with phones. You still have Nokia phones. You still have Samsung. You still have this. You still have that.
Yeah.
And then your consoles are going to be the same thing.
Yeah, but it's still a PC.
And if you take the disk drive out of an Xbox, that thing could probably be half that size.
Yeah.
Same thing with the PlayStation.
Yeah. True. Yeah, it looks like that's honestly where we are heading. Is towards a more PC future. And the only one who's kind of bucking the trend, I think, is at this point is Nintendo more so.
Yeah.
Nintendo's still kind of grasping onto like the old way of things.
I think like they're the only ones that are doing it intelligently by offering like an actual alternative instead of being like PC light, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. But that, the downside, of that, once again, we're kind of going back into the Nintendo conversation, is that they are releasing hardware that's underpowered and then can't keep up with everyone else, and so then basically you're buying a Nintendo device just for Nintendo games.
But that's kind of the appeal from a lot of PC gamers who buy Nintendos, because it's not like what they have sitting on their desk. It's something completely different.
Yeah, because if you're playing Call of Duty on PS4, you're like, well, I could just play this on like better settings on my PC.
Exactly.
Yep.
But if they want to launch like Mario Kart, you're not going to get that on PC.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of
I mean, you could, but
speaking of just before the show, I was playing some Mario Kart.
Speaking of playing Mario Kart, after listening to your podcast last week, I fired up some Mario Kart on my Super Nintendo emulator, which is another nice perk of the PC, having essentially access to the entire video game library of all of history.
True.
I mean, speaking
not necessarily legally, of course.
Yeah, I was going to say, except that you're pirating it.
I mean, I play Dino Crisis on my computer from here, and every now and then, and it's freaking, or Parasite Eve, PlayStation games you can't really find. So, I mean, it has its advantages. I mean,
I will say this, with this whole for the Nintendo NES Classic Edition over the past few months, like I wanted one obviously to keep for my collection, just as to have, because I love anything Nintendo produces. But at the end of the day, I was like, why spend $60 on this thing when you can go on Amazon, buy a
Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, buy a Raspberry Pi and build a retro Pi with like every game from Atari up until N64 on one little tiny computer, for about the same price. I mean,
and that's pretty much still going into the tech geeking and PC gamer territory.
For me, that's the better deal. But at the end of the day, it's cool. Like the little NES Classic Edition's neat. You know what I mean? It's
got an actual authentic controller.
Yeah, the case looks just like a miniature version of the NES. So you got the nostalgia factor. But even now, I mean, I've seen online where people are building the retro Pis with, these custom-made cases that they're 3D printing that look like NES cases or look like Sega Genesis cases or whatever,
Oh, that's cool. And one other nice thing about PC emulation is generally the games actually look better than they did when they first came out. Like even on like the Super Nintendo, like the graphics are
upscaled.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I have what's it called? The Retron 5, right? And it's basically an emulator console. And the difference between like when I say play a original NES system versus this that upgrades upscales, the graphics up to 1080p. I mean, it's like looking at these games like with brand new eyes, you know what I mean? So, it's pretty amazing. But,
yes. Like it's even kind of cool just playing like old Atari games, because I remember when we had to hook it up using like those weird it was wires. Even like before it was like before RGA cables. It was like those metal
prong things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I know. I can't even hook up an Atari anymore because I don't have an Atari. I have like 6 Atari systems sitting in my house, and I can't hook the damn things up to test them, because I don't have any way. Like I need to find some kind of adapter. I'm sure they make one now where, but those were weird, man.
I think if you have a local Radio Shack, you can run down there and find one. We don't have Radio Shack here anymore. Yeah,
they're gone.
I think there's like
I miss Radio Shack, but now we have Amazon Prime. So. Which I seem to have like an Amazon Prime package every other day. I swear. But that just goes to show you how old we are, guys, that we're sitting here talking about hooking up pronged adapters to antenna old cathode ray tube TVs. These kids, some of these kids that tune in are probably like, "What in the world are they talking about?"
And then walking down to Radio Shack, get an adapter.
Exactly.
Why don't you just play it on the PC?
Oh man, times have changed so much. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I was telling Beth the other day. I was like, and Beth is my wife, by the way, for anyone listening who's wondering. But I was telling her like, God, I'm so envious of these kids today. Like, you know, like the games that I'm playing, like the Mario Kart, like, you know, the new Mario Kart. I keep coming back to that, but it's what I had imagined, like in my mind, Mario Kart was back in the day. You know what I mean? Like we had to use our imagination because the graphics weren't that great back in the day.
Yeah.
But you know, as a kid, like the modern Mario Kart is beyond what I would have ever even imagined it could have been. You know.
You know what's funny is since I started doing a bunch of the emulations, I go back and play these PlayStation 1 games, and it floors me how much different I remember them.
Yeah.
Looking way better, and then they look like trash now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
PS1 and N64 didn't age well. Like surprisingly, NES and SNES I feel still look good, but like
SNES especially.
Yeah, SNES is beautiful. But N64 and PS1 are really blocky, you know, because it was like really early. Like, I mean, they didn't have a lot of pixels to work with, so
yeah, like those like low polygon count graphics. Yeah. I mean.
Like, I remember Twisted Metal looking, like, really on point.
Oh, yeah.
And going back, it's almost unplayable now. It's like, give me a headache.
Yeah. It's bad, yeah.
Like, the most eye-opening moment like that for me was, like, you're like Soul Calibur for Dreamcast. Like, if I picture that in my mind's eye, it's just, like, photorealistic graphics. But if I look at, you know, screenshots, it doesn't really look that great, you know?
Yeah, it's amazing how much that stuff's aged. I mean, even in the past 10 years, how far graphics have come, you know? You know, like I remember like Battlefront when it came out on PS4, right? I mean, I was just blown away. Like I was disappointed. I will say this. I was disappointed the fact that Battlefront, you know, only had a multiplayer mode and several maps. EA, thanks a lot. I paid $60 for that crap. Okay. But but no, it was, you know, but you gotta, I mean, looking at the game, I mean, dude, the graphics, you really feel like you're in Star Wars. I mean, it's amazing. And I mean, when they can eventually get VR technology up to the point where, you know, because VR at this point is downgraded, right? Because like most PCs or most consoles aren't able to like fully handle all these graphics at full resolution. But once we get to that point where you can play like Battlefront or any of these games in full resolution in VR, oh my God, it's going to be like the Matrix.
Pretty much.
I mean, and that goes back to this PC like console race. Yeah. The graphics on PC back then would completely stomp like consoles. Now they're in a gray area where they're almost so much alike that you don't really tell the difference.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can if you start using the 4K mods and all that really push the PC, but stock wise,
I just want to say, I think even back in the N64 era, like say GoldenEye was like above and beyond any other shooter, even on PC at the time for the most part.
There wasn't a period where consoles, it seemed like we're ahead of PCs, like during the PS2, maybe N64 era.
I mean, I'll take it like this. Look at Crysis 2 on like consoles and then Crysis 2 on PC, which Crysis 2 still holds up. It still looks freaking amazing.
Well, the original Crysis still holds up.
Yeah, I mean, like compare that to the console version of what you got, and you're not seeing so much of that anymore. So I don't know. It's like,
so I mean, essentially, you're saying that
I'm pretty much saying is they're getting
consoles are holding it back, kind of.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd exactly say that, considering they're using the same off-the-shelf parts as PC. Yeah. It's almost like consoles are.
But developers though have to create these games with like let's just say that, you know, Xbox One and PS4 are like a low to mid tier, you know, PC, right? Then and they're 4 years old. So in computer terms, they're ancient by now. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, as fast as computer technology, graphics technology develop, within a 5-year cycle, by the time those things end, that's why you usually see this big jump in graphics resolution from like remember when we went from PS2 to PS2 and Xbox to like Xbox 360 and PS3? I mean, it was mind blowing, like the jump in graphics. But me and Dakota were talking about this the other day, that, this generation, I don't feel like there was as big of a jump from PS3 to PS4. Like it was kind of a nominal,
Yeah, for sure. I think almost everyone feels that way.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I don't know if that, like, there's a term for that, like
diminishing returns.
Yeah, diminishing return. Yeah, exactly. To where we've got to the point where, graphics technology is just so good that even like, you just really don't notice that big of a difference because, it's the models of the characters and everything are all so detailed already. Like the big difference, I guess, that I've seen this generation is mostly in like lighting and stuff.
I think that
effects, like water effects, like reflections, hair, things like that.
I also think
particle effect.
I think it comes down now to is where it's the resolution we're using now, because it's standard 1080. I mean, if you have consoles running 4K and PCs running 4K, it's going to be a huge jump. I think that's basically what may be holding it back at this point.
Yeah. I have to admit, I'm still on a 1080p TV. I haven't upgraded yet. And it's amazing how cheap 4K TVs are now. I was walking through Walmart the other day, dude. Oh my God. Like you can get a 60 or 70 inch TV for less than $1,000. And I think they had a 60 or 65 inch box. It's crazy.
The more I think about it, I think that might actually be why, because wasn't PS2 and Xbox, wasn't they like 480?
SD.
Weren't they like 480 and then it jumped to 720?
720 by 480. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. It could be a huge, the resolution difference. But, the part of the problem too then is that this generation, the 4K thing kind of happened mid-generation, the transition. So when the consoles came out, the PS4 and Xbox One, we were still in 1080p, and since then, that's why you have these mid-generation consoles like the PS4 Pro and then of course the Scorpio.
Not even kidding. I think I saw an article the other day of someone who's running The Witcher 3 at 8K.
Wow.
And I'm like,
yeah.
What kind of rig are you running there?
We're at a point where like you're going to need to upgrade your TV like every couple of years because the technology is advancing so fast. But yeah, I think this generation is pretty much over. Like, and I want to actually have another podcast where we talk about this more, but I think, next year Sony and Microsoft need to release new consoles because I feel like they're so underpowered at this point. And I think they were released way underpowered. And I just don't see the big difference in like processing power or resolution or anything like that, that we saw in the past generation. So, but I see gameplay from PC games, and I'm just like blown away by, what some of these rigs on like full high settings are doing.
I mean, and also I don't understand, but a lot of the consoles lock their frame rates.
Yeah.
Which it also ends up happening. Ports get their frame rates locked at 60, which pisses gamers off or PC gamers off.
Well, most console games are locked at 30.
Yeah, and it really should be 60. And I don't know. I think maybe because a lot of older like a lot of the older flat screen TVs that a lot of people are probably still using don't go over 24 hertz.
No, I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think it's just the processing power of the consoles aren't there to do 60 frames per second at 1080p.
I think if that's the case, then that's laziness on their part because there's no reason why they can't build something on that size that can do it for the money. Yeah. Because you can build a PC that can run 60 FPS on 1080p for cheaper than what the console's released for.
Oh yeah. Well, I once again, I think that when Sony and Microsoft built these consoles, they were like, "Hey, let's take the cheapest, mid-range parts we can find and throw these into a box, and then introduce a new next gen console. So these next gen consoles are going to have to really bring their A game, when they eventually come out. But it's going to be interesting to see how long this generation goes on, because we're almost 5 years into it, and they're releasing like mid-generation consoles. So
it's almost like an iPhone 6 and then the iPhone
Exactly.
6S.
Yeah.
I think we already had that discussion too.
Yeah, the Pro came out a year or two ago, and then the Scorpio's coming out this year. So
get ready for the Scorpio, the Scorpio S coming out soon after that.
What it actually kind of reminds me of was like the Sega CD and like Sega 32X and stuff.
Yeah. Dakota said that the other day. We were talking. We were having a conversation, and he made that reference too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sega was trying to kind of keep up with what at the time the 32-bit consoles that were coming out. And Sega. Have you ever seen one of those like Sega consoles with all the attachments? It's
like the Tower of Power.
Yeah, it is a sight to behold.
Like a Game Genie and a Sonic and Knuckles.
The 32X, the CD, the Sega CD. Oh man,
beautiful.
It's like Voltron or something, man.
Yeah. But yeah, it is kind of weird how we are almost going back to like these stopgap kind of 32X like solutions.
Yeah, I don't think that they were ready at all. Like I really feel like Sony and Microsoft rushed these consoles to market, and of course that's why now they're having to.
I think that might if console gamers are gonna have to start paying for consoles every how many years has it been?
It's been 4.
It hasn't been a full console cycle like we used to. If they keep doing that, they might push people to PC, because there's at least you can squeeze, if you buy new parts, you can squeeze probably 2 full console cycles out of a computer.
Yeah.
So
that's a good point. They could be, killing their own industry.
So who knows? I mean, it's an interesting topic, but as regard to like the PC versus consoles, like the whole topic that we were having, I mean, it really comes down to preference.
Yeah.
And it comes down to personality. You tend to notice people who like consoles are not the kids that are sitting there like looking up memes 24/7.
Bond.
Guilty as charged.
They're not Redditors. Yeah, but it's just different types of people. I mean, tech geeks tend to hardcore stray towards PC. They don't always. It's not always a thing like that, but it's just us tech geeks like our freedom, and we get a lot more freedom with the PC than we do a console. We don't like being told what we can and can't do, and that's where the PC, I think, has the edge.
No, I totally agree. Yeah, I think that's probably a good place to kind of start closing this, but I'd like to kind of get some closing thoughts from everyone. But I just want to say, that at the end of the day, PC versus console, or even just console wars in general. Like it's fun. It's kind of a fun thing when new consoles come out. Oh yeah, I'm team PS4 or I'm team Xbox, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's all about gaming, and that's the most important thing. And I think like we were saying, less and less, it's becoming less and less of a thing as far as exclusivity. So I honestly would really like to, we start to kind of see this like cross-platform stuff happening with certain games like Rocket League, where, whatever format you're on, you can kind of play against other players with other, consoles or PC. Yeah. I'd like to see that happen more with other games, because, I mean, at the end of the day, imagine how awesome it'd be if I don't know, say Grand Theft Auto 5, that I could play with you guys online, and you guys are on your PC, I'm on my PS4, and we could just play together without having to go out and buy another console or a PC or whatever to do it.
Yeah, totally making fun of us keyboard catting on the driving.
Yeah, I'll say that. That's something I'm glad you just said, because we never even talked about that. But that's a one reason I prefer consoles is I like controllers. Of course, you can get controllers for PC. But
You can get a racing
PS4. Yeah, you can get a PS4 controller for.
It's funny. Although I prefer PC gaming and I like playing with the mouse, I hate the keyboard, and I actually play with like a controller, like in like any kind of like action game or any game where it's justifiable, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I fly. I exclusively use the controller to fly on GTA, and I played The Witcher only with the controller because I didn't like the keyboard controls. So there's that.
I think it's cool how basically with PC now you can use any controller you want. So if you want to use a PS4 controller, you can use it. If you want to use an Xbox One controller, you can use it. So, which
I might add, the PS4 controller is probably the best one to use.
Yeah,
that's just my.
It's a great controller. We should have a discussion sometime on the greatest controller of all time.
But but to say something real quick, I mean, I don't think even if they all simulated into one, they would still be this rivalry. Like currently, PC versus console rivalry. It's still, we have rivalries within each other.
Yeah.
You have the Xbox, Sony. You have the NVIDIA, AMD, and then that it's never going to end, no matter what we do.
And within PC people, you always have these people who can't afford like the most up to date rigs.
Oh yeah.
So you peon, you have this graphics card. I always find that hilarious.
A peasant.
Yeah,
it happens. So it's...
the PC. I will say, PC gamers, man, are the most elitist people.
They are.
Yeah. But I always find it funny, like the rivalries between console owners too, and like probably the funniest is like Nintendo supporters because you have I love Nintendo and I have a Nintendo console, but like Nintendo purists, these are the guys who like the only console they own is Nintendo and they won't own any other console. Like they try to like any, I don't know, especially with Wii U, like the guys on Wii U, they're like, oh, well, we didn't get Call of Duty, so what? But we got this. Yeah, 6 months ago, you got a first party game, but
I mean, you have to be pretty devoted to be a Nintendo purist.
Yeah, I know.
These days.
They exist, man. They're hardcore.
I mean, you have the PC Master Race, and then as we call you, the peasants. But then Lebo right now, because I told you about this. Lebo technically, since he owns both, is what they call the God. What is it? The God Master Race, where you own both.
Yeah,
I own them all.
Yeah, where you own them all, and you're just a gamer.
I am above all of you. I scoff at you.
Yeah, I came really close to buying a Steam machine last Christmas because they had them on like sale for.
We have a Steam machine. It works really good on our carpet.
But different Steam machine.
I really think that they screwed up. Those Steam machines, they were underpowered. Though.
Yeah.
I don't
understand.
Overpriced. I mean, they were overpriced. I don't understand why they were overpriced. They took the most expensive parts they could find and threw them in a box.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, buy this. And people did because it's Gabe Newell.
Yeah. Well, the biggest problem, I did some research, and the biggest problem with the Steam machine was the operating system, right? The OS, like...
SteamOS?
It was like Linux, right?
Yeah, it was closed. So, like, you couldn't get a lot of games on it. But, like, if it weren't for that fact, I probably would have got one.
Wait, it wasn't running base SteamOS?
Yeah, but the problem is that there was a lot of games for some reason that weren't compatible with that operating system.
That's so
like,
strange.
Yeah, you couldn't get like every game that you would be able to get on a normal PC. What's interesting is that I don't know if you guys remember, it was kind of a weird debacle, but like Alienware was gonna release a Steam machine, right? And then there was some issues releasing because there was a whole bunch of different manufacturers that were each gonna release a Steam machine, right? And Alienware came out with their version before the Steam machines officially released, and they called it something else, the Alpha, right? And it was basically a Steam machine, but it didn't have the Steam OS, and that was the better model because it didn't have the Steam OS, because you could basically just use it like a normal PC, right? And install Windows or do whatever on it. But when the actual Steam machines came out like a year later, Alienware released the exact same computer, only then they called it like the like a Steam machine, like something or other. But then that one had the Steam OS instead of the regular Windows operating system. So therefore, you couldn't download as many games. It was weird. But yeah, it was a weird debacle with the Steam machines, and I think at this point they're dead, right? Like,
they kind of. I don't know if they're necessarily dead. I don't see much news on it. I know that I don't see even much news on there. I think they moved from the Steam machine onto that little Steam box, which would broadcast your home PC to a television set from another room.
Steam Link.
Steam Link, there you go.
Oh, okay.
It's actually it was on sale just today for like $20.
And that thing was way cheaper and did about the same thing. Because the people who were buying those were actually people who already had a PC but wanted it in their living room. So,
well, see, I like the experience of sitting in my living room in front of a TV playing games, as opposed to crouching over a desk or whatever on a PC. You know, so that's one thing that was a big plus for me with the Steam machines was it was a PC in a console, you know, in the living room environment.
Yeah, but I think that's why they just went with the Steam Link instead. Yeah. I think that was smarter on their. I think plus they went on to do VR stuff, so I don't know whether they just shelved it just to do their VR stuff or not. But I haven't heard much about it. I know that they were pushing their controller too, which is awful.
Well, I hope something comes out of that. I really would like to see, you know, a more developed Steam machine that, you know, was with a more easy to use operating system, I guess, that, you know, fixes the problems of the Steam machines that we have. And then, you know, also ones that are powerful enough for, you know.
I just think Valve was a little too early trying to do that. So who knows?
Cool. Well, I think that's a good place to end it. Any final comments, Lebo?
Well, it's like I said at the beginning, you know, I'm a gamer. Like, I could sit and play Tetris if that's what I really wanted to, and it doesn't matter if it's on a Game Boy or on the computer or on my phone, for Christ's sake now. So to me, I look at the PC guys and they say, oh, PC is the greatest thing. And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty cool. And then the Xbox guy, oh, yeah, the Xbox is the greatest thing. Oh, yeah, it's pretty cool. And then the PlayStation guys say the same thing.
Yeah.
It's all gaming to me.
Yeah.
The great thing about PCs is I can pretty much play anything I want. The great thing about an Xbox is I can go sit on the couch and I can plug in my HDMI cord and I can be done. I don't have to worry about uploading the newest game card or game FX card or all this crap. Make sure it's compatible.
Yeah.
I just plug it in and I go. I download the thing off Xbox Live. It's done. Nintendo, they have issues.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in a brand new generation and you don't really have much there. Why don't you have a system where you can download games to? Because that's where everybody's going now. My vision for the future is Xbox, PlayStation. It's going to be basically a box that you download games to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With probably some sort of memory stick.
I agree. Within maybe one more generation, I think we'll have physical discs.
I think you're right. Probably one more generation. Yeah. But then, 10 years from now, we're all going to be sitting here with gray in our hair going, yeah, remember that had to put the disc in the son of a bitch. Take 4.5 hours.
Yeah. Right? It's going to seem so archaic.
Couch. Jeez.
You're right. It's going to seem so archaic to our grandkids. We're like explaining to them.
You actually had to use your hands. Remember that back to the future?
Exactly.
It's kind of like, when kids see these NES cartridges now, they're like, what in the world?
I mean, as a PC gamer, I'm already there. I don't have a disk drive on my computer anymore. Yeah. So, I mean, it's probably not too far off.
Yeah. One more generation, I predict. That's it. Bond?
But yeah, I mean, it's all about the games. I personally, for me, the modern AAA games don't appeal to me very often. So I like all the weird, quirky, and indie games on the PC. You know, all the the indie renaissance going on right now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's all about the games at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
whatever you play them on, that's the important thing.
Well said. Gil, any last
I mean,
comment?
the comment I'd have.
Sorry.
How dare you?
You're saying-
Okay. Yeah. I mean, gamers are gamers. Gamers are gonna play what they want to play. If they're interested in Call of Duty, let them play Call of Duty.
Yeah.
If they're interested in real games like GTA or RTSs or MMOs, whatever it be,
Yeah.
play it on whatever you can play it on.
Yeah. Agreed.
Do what you want. Stop. I would say the elitist crap needs to kind of stop, although it is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But-
It's fun. I think it's fun. You know,
Yeah,
at the end of the day.
It's fun.
It's tongue in cheek,
Yeah.
I would love to see it actually turn into crossplay so we can
I
actually
agree.
go to war in
Listen,
games.
listen up, companies. We need to make this happen. What we all want, PC gamers and console gamers can agree, is that we all want to play against each other and settle the argument once and for all.
Yeah, let's settle this.
Who's better?
Agreed.
And of course, it's console owners.
But
But no, I will say this. The last thing I'll say is that I agree with what all you have said. At the end of the day, gaming's gaming. Like, I don't care what you're playing on, as long as it's not a freaking phone. I hate phones. Like, I don't think people should be playing games on phones.
well,
Any other format.
I mean,
Agreed.
Galaxies of Heroes is making more money than any MMO currently. So what?
All these mobile games suck. Any other format, I say go for it. But thanks for tuning in, guys. And Lebo, Dakota, Dustin, I appreciate you guys all being on the show. And
Thanks.
hi, Eris.
Bye.
Hey.
And we'll be back next week, guys, with another episode of the Geeksation Live Podcast. We'll see you then.